So what I want to do for you guys is just get you thinking about veggies. Often like the afterthought, often the little kicker, but can we actually make veggie dishes that are as genuinely scrumptious as other cool things happening on the barbecue? Like aubergines, asparagus, potatoes, carrots, all of that. You know, can we make them utterly delicious? So look, in the world of barbecuing, like, you know, when you light a barbecue, so I got that going like half an hour ago, like the kind of graph of heat kind of goes up like that, then it starts to subside. And if you're lucky, a nice hit of charcoal will last about an hour and a half, you know, and you'll get a good innings out of it. And of course you can have more going on the side and you can add to it. But there's this natural sort of half an hour before it's really a good temperature to grill meat. It's too hot, unless it's tiny bits of thin meat that cook quickly. Like the first half an hour, it's too angrily hot, but that's really good for veg. So I've had a nice little wash up on this asparagus. Have a look at the asparagus here, just beautiful. So let's do asparagus first. I'm just gonna grab a wodge. I'll do nothing to it. We're gonna go in dry. Okay. A lot of people, I've seen it a lot, people put oil over veggies and then they start barbecuing. You start getting flames. The oils that you use start to degrade. I don't want it. If you go in dry, right, what's gonna happen is you're gonna char the veg. And you're gonna bring out a nutty quality that you are not gonna see by frying, steaming, boiling, roasting, right? It's gonna be a different flavor. That's really exciting to me. So just literally throw the asparagus on the grill and you're gonna be good to go. Look at that. So this is gonna be mega. All I wanna do is make like a simple little French dressing. Let's do it in here. You can actually use like a bowl or a pestle and mortar. Let's just do basic like vinaigrette style. So I'll take a little bit of Dijon mustard. I'll take a fork, take a heaped teaspoon of the Dijon. The conversation to be had around the genius of a vinaigrette is like quality oil, we'll take that, and quality vinegar. Like often I find that people don't understand the importance of vinegar, right? So white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, that's good. Cider vinegar, sherry vinegar, that's good. And this is a really kind of shallow thing to say, but I'm pretty much right all the time. If you see in the supermarket or deli an expensive vinegar, if you can, buy it, because it will transform what you do with veggies and salads. And in the long run, it will pay for itself because it will make things that are very cheap and good value, like veggies, really, really delicious, right? So normally when you pay for an expensive vinegar, it's going to be something extraordinary, right? So they do things with barrels, herbs, all kinds. So, and I collect vinegars, and I know I sound boring right now, but you can either think I've gone mad, which is highly possible, or maybe I'm right. So I'm using about 4 parts olive oil to 1 part vinegar. Now, just as a little kind of thoughtfulness that might help you in your world of cooking, whenever I'm doing different veggie dishes or salads, I'm not just looking at the different veggies, I'm looking at the different oils and the different vinegars or form of acid like lime, like orange, like lemon juice. So what I try and do is take a veggie and take a specific vinegar, and then if I go to another veggie, I'll use another vinegar or citrus, right? So I'm just amplifying how different this veggie is from the next. And the theory is, if you do that with things like herbs as well, then as you're eating at a dinner table, right, everything tastes perfectly unique and wonderful and sort of levitates in its own sort of beautiful flavors. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I do all the time. So that's why I collect vinegars, red wine vinegars, sherry vinegars, champagne vinegars, flavored vinegars, herb vinegars. So look, I'm just turning these asparagus, you can see they're getting charred, and just let them crackle and char. So have a taste. Salt and pepper. If your vinaigrette is a little sort of on the sour side, just a little honey is a beautiful thing, just to balance. And there you go. That's beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is take the asparagus and just pop it on the board like this. It's interesting. Asparagus is very, very delicate, and rightfully so. It should be treated with respect and love. It's so special, but often it's steamed or boiled, which is very gentle and brings out the natural sweetness. But by charring it, what you get is something that is kind of blistered and charred, and it feels aggressive, right? But because it hasn't been diluted by water, you've got this incredible nutty expression of asparagus that is unusually elegant through brutal heat, right? So what I'm gonna do is just take the asparagus, line them up a little bit. I might just slice up some of the stalks just at an angle for no reason, just to kind of break it down. And then I've got this lovely vinaigrette. Experiment with different mustards, experiment with different vinegars, experiment with, you know, honey or, you know, maple syrup or different herbs. And then I would just dress it like a normal salad. So as soon as you dress it, then you're kind of rehydrating the asparagus. So it goes from something that's kind of quite dehydrated and charred to something that's starting to shine and look beautiful. Now if you try it, oh, it's just so sweet, so natural. The smoke and char is subtle, actually, it's really subtle. So this on a plate is truly a thing of joy. So pick it up, look at the colours, look at the colours. I'm hemmed in a little corner here, but literally I couldn't be happier. This for me is my happy place. And I think that's like just being outside cooking, having a little base camp. Such a beautiful thing. This is honestly what cooking is all about. Just take some of that lovely vinaigrette, finely slice some chives, subtle oniony vibes, but really subtle. And then just a scattering of those chives is going to be joyful. And actually what I've got, let's have a little look here. I've got some little chive flowers. Where did they go? Ah, here they are. Look at these. These are really nice. So these are small ones, but you get massive ones. And you just literally pinch it at the top like that, and then you just sprinkle them on top. And just look at that in the sunlight. It's just so beautiful. And why would I do it? It's not just to look pretty, by the way. Like, chive flowers are really mild and really sweet. Like a wicked little expression, but that is amazing. So that in its own right, I think, is a beautiful thing. So first up, grilled asparagus with a beautiful vinaigrette dressing and flowering chives. Right, one down. So here we've got broad beans, which are a fantastic bean. And if you look here, if I just open up, it's the most wonderful place to live. I wish that my bed was like this. It is so soft and gorgeous. And those broad beans are so sweet and fresh and delicious. So funny enough, when they're small like this, actually you can eat the whole thing. No one really knows that. And if you slice them up with lemon juice, olive oil, salt, maybe a bit of chili, definitely some salty cheese like pecorino, parmesan, that sort of vibe, it's heaven. The beans are heaven. As they get bigger, obviously they get bigger, but the outer skin gets a bit more leathery, so sometimes people peel them. But of course, this is the excitement about growing your own stuff, right? Really easy to grow, super nutritious, but when you grow things, you get them in all of their forms. Normally when you go to a farmer's market or a supermarket, why would they want to sell you something small and genius? Because they can sell it to you 3 times the size, right? And then they've got more weight, and then they can charge you for more weight, right? So when you grow your own things, you get to learn things like, you know, being able to eat the whole thing when you think you can't. You get them really small, medium, large. Even when they're over large and they're kind of getting woolly, they have a different quality. So look, we're doing ever so well in no time at all. Look at this. Just look at that. It's just exciting. And When I had my first tiny flat in London, I had the tiniest garden, and guess what? I grew in it. Salads, simple veggies. When I didn't have a back garden, I still grew in my flat on the windows, in window boxes. I think it doesn't matter how old or young you are, it doesn't matter where you are, but look at that, gorgeous. Next, let's be brutal again. Yeah, let's get brutal. So, what we have here is broad beans. Often, maybe, dare I say it, nearly always, these are podded and steamed or boiled or braised or stewed. Not often are you going to see it flung with disrespect onto a barbecue. Burnt, dare I say it, within an inch of its life on a barbecue. So this is cool. Think edamame beans in a Japanese restaurant. Think sort of smoky scaldiness. Think inside. Remember where those broad beans were, which is such a kind of cuddly little sleeping bag protecting those precious broad beans. Like in there's moisture. So you don't need any water to steam. We're going to steam on a barbecue when that heat is so aggressive and it's going to burn chicken, right? Like this is going to be amazing for burning the broad beans. So this is a wicked little idea. So as that is joyfully burning, I want to show you another little vibe that I think might arm you with deliciousness and cunning little tricks. So in my little pestle here, I'm just going to give it a little wash out in my little camp setup. So pestle and mortar, if you haven't got one, if you seriously believe that you're going to be cooking any time in your life, get yourself a pestle and mortar. This old school, rock on rock, this is about flavour, marinades, flavoured sugars, and today, flavoured salts, right? So over there, what have we got? Just so we got logic, and like, not that I'm right, but like just so you can see how I'm thinking, so you can do your version of the same. So inside these little things, we are steaming sweet, precious broad beans, gorgeous. So let's contrast that. So let's be, you know, in the spirit of Japanese and wasabi and heat maybe. Let's use some chili. I like that, I'm down. So let's make a flavoured salt. Flavoured salts often don't get done or talked about, right? So what can we do? You can take a herb, say mint, bash it up just a little bit, make a little sludge, then put salt through it, digga, 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 put it on a tray, dry it out, crack it up, then you've got mint flavoured salt. Same with thyme, same with rosemary, same with bay, right? You could do lemon zest and rosemary, right? Bash it up, salt goes in, on a tray, dry it out, crack it up, in a jar, you know, it'll last for months. The flavour of citrus and rosemary. Like, make up your own combos, there's no right, there's no wrong. Let's think, okay, chili. I'm gonna just pop that in here like that. Pick a herb. I'm gonna go rosemary, think it'd be nice. Chili and rosemary, it could be basil, it could be something else. Take a little bit of my garlic, just a little bit. So garlicky, rosemary, salt. That's what we're gonna make. So rock on rock, we're just bruising and bashing. This is gonna be great. We'll take a little lemon zest as well. Citrus works really well with flavoured salt. We're gonna take some salt, put a wodge in first, and that creates a little bit of abrasion so that we can really start pumping out this flavour. So you can see that little bit of salt has kind of been absorbed now. Now I'm gonna put like a couple of handfuls in. So this is a nice little job. You're gonna see now as I muddle, so I'm going from bashing to muddling, right? This is gonna make a big batch of salt, right? So it's a job that takes, how long did that take? Like a minute and a half, right? So look, once you've bashed it up, what I do is put it into a little tray like this, right? And I'll keep some of it back. But this here, shake it into one layer, and that will dry in a couple of hours. So look, that is a batch of beautiful flavoured salt, chili, lemon and rosemary. It's gonna be delicious. I've got a nice little wodge of salt here, ready for, where did they go? Here you go. these grilled broad beans. Look at these, gnarly and burnt. You're not going to eat the outside, right? Those protected beans are on the inside. But just like those little edamame beans, right? When you give them just a little drizzle of some nice oil, right? We're going to put the salt on there. Obviously it's chili, so if you're sensitive you can put gloves on, but that ain't me because I'm tough. Toss it up. You could do a whole board of these, right, and just have them there, a couple of cold beers, and it's a whole kind of, it's a whole thing. I just love it. And of course you grab one and you just open up that little beautiful bean. Look in here, look. Just, and inside you've got this perfectly steamed, beautiful bean, but just by touching it you've got salt in your hand. So then when you eat it, it's perfectly seasoned. Absolutely flipping delicious. Again, brutal heat and pure elegance. Here, salt, lemon, wah, chili. So, second little recipe done, tossed up. So there you go. Beautiful broad beans. I can hear my kids. It's one of my little one's birthday today. So there's gonna be exciting kids running around for sure. How beautiful is that? And there is my beautiful chili, rosemary and lemon salt broad beans. Different, but utterly delicious. These are potatoes. I've got quite a lot of potatoes this year. When they start to flower like this is a good sign that they're going to be good to pull up. I'm normally very impatient. Come over here. This is very, very exciting. So I've already been getting into this. These are a purple variety, and let's just pull them up. Look at these. So you can kind of see what's going on here. You got big ones, small ones. I mean, if you were super sort of geeky and you had the time, you'd kind of go burrowing and you just click off the big ones and you'd leave the little ones still attached, and then you come back a week later and you take these ones. But I think life's a bit short, so I won't be doing that. But basically, that is our potatoes. Look at the colour of that, and that they're so fresh. If I just push the skin, can you see how that skin just comes off? That, my friend, is heaven. Look at the colour. And this colour should be telling you that it's, you know, nutritious, full of vitamin C. Look at that. Right, beautiful potatoes. Where are we going next? Okay. So let's just talk about potatoes. So many things to love about spuds. Roasted, amazing. French fries, amazing. Boiled, I love it. But grilled, not really talked about very often. And actually, you can kind of get some vibes around the same area as a French fry. Without question, when you're leaving skin on and you're using dry heat like this, that's aggressive, you get a nuttiness or a true flavour of potato that maybe like we haven't had very often. Like, it's really interesting. So if it's small, potentially we'll just cut it in half, like that. If it's big, we'll go lengthwise and we'll do like a centimetre slice, like that. You can go thinner, but I think you want a nice bite. I'm going to go on dry again, and then we dress with flavours and oils and citrus and herbs that's alive, right? We do that after, not on there. You don't need any oil. The starchiness kind of creates a lovely crust, which is quite satisfying. Now, we've only started grilling, but let's have a little check. Can you see how lovely and blistery and gorgeous and dry that is? So this is a really good thing. If you do get the odd potato, like this one here is a bit overcharred, right? So I would say that's overcharred, okay? But a little bit like when you burn your toast in the morning, what you can do is scrape it off and save the day. But it happens, so it's good to know that. We're looking good. Okay, so how are we going to bring this story together? So I'm thinking lemon. I think with lemon, what we've got for free is, well, not for free, but what we often miss is the zest. So a fine grater, you can use the side of a normal standard square box grater, and just take that lemony part off. So we know lemon, you know, salt and vinegar, right, with chips works. So instead of vinegar, we're going to go lemon. So we're going to have it in two forms. We'll have it in the juice form, and we'll have it in the zest form. Good olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So obviously extra virgin olive oil, heart healthy, super delicious. You know, it's great, like respect that. But if you think about it as a kind of, just as a sort of thoughtfulness, you know, we love French fries, all of us do, but often like the association with, you know, saturated fats and unhealthy and deep frying, like that you can't ignore that, right? So we're going from a situation where an enjoyable potato or spud is deep fried, and we love it. But this is now grilled, so we're doing a hyper potato flavor. It's kind of interesting. But what we're gonna do is drizzle it in a good oil that's heart healthy, that's good for you, right? And you wouldn't cook like a chicken leg on here. It's too hot. It would flame up and it would just be out of control, and it'll be looking good on the outside and raw on the inside, right? So we're still using that kind of golden half an hour of super high temperature, which is often unrealistic for lots of cuts of meat. But we're kind of able to sort of, I'm not going to say dry fry, but dry toast these spuds, and they're looking amazing. Like, I think that was like 12 minutes of cooking, but it could be 15, it could be 10, depending on how thin your potato is and how hot your coals are. But look, see? So fluffy on the inside, crispy on the outside. It ain't no joke, right? So at this stage, now on the board, so that's when I would just give it a nice little drizzle of good quality extra virgin olive oil, right? So we're going from the realms of deep fat frying, which is considered unhealthy, saturated fats, to healthy oils and fats with olive oil that's really good for you. Hit it with the lemon zest, with some lemon juice, and some salt, and some pepper. And if you have a fine eye for the cute guy, I have picked some borage flowers for absolutely no logical reason other than to look fancy. It will actually add a flower, not flower, it will add a flavor, but it's more like having fun with it and saying, hello, I'm a bit different. I'm not your normal potato salad. And edible flowers like violas, you know, marigolds, you know, you might think there's no point in this. There's always a point. There's a point in everything. Look, we've got little thyme flowers here. We'll have that. We've got some sage flowers. Like at this time of year when herb flowers are around, like use them. They're fantastic. But what you're gonna get is something a bit surprising. So let's have a little try. So this one here has got my name on it. Olive oily, salty lemony. So good. Honestly, if you've never done it, try it. Utterly, utterly delicious. This is my grilled and dressed up potatoes with lemon, olive oil, salt and pepper, and fancy flowers. Come on, tell me that's not a beautiful plate. That'll get people talking. I love it. So this is one of my favorite worlds, possibly one of the most misunderstood veggies. This is an artichoke patch. Mate, it's epic. Okay, first of all, regardless of what size garden you got, it don't matter. If you go and buy artichokes in a shop, if you can find them, they're expensive. right? To grow them, cheap as chips. Effort, low. They look incredible. They come back year after year, right? So they're a perennial plant. So look at this. When they're this size, which is just under the size of a tennis ball, there's this whole world of recipes you can do. If they're small like this, you can do all kinds of different ones. You can grow them that big. And they all kind of give you different things to, like, would you slice them, would you have them raw? Like when they're this size, they haven't got a choke, artichoke, so the choke is the flowery part. It's not poisonous or anything, but it's not that edible. But when they're this small, they don't have one. So that's cool. When they get big, they do. So then you pull the choke out and you stuff it with beautiful things. So there's a whole world of recipes to do with this. Most people, certainly in the UK, don't know what to do with them because they need to learn how to prep them. I'm going to teach you how to prep them. This is so cool. And you can see they're just like cut and come again. There's going to be loads more of these. So definitely have a go at growing those. You won't regret it. Last but not least, it's time for the underdog, the artichoke. Now this is a nice one. So a lot of people don't know what to do with these. There's many things you can do with it. Let's just get on with it. So to prep an artichoke, it's obviously a flower. We have a stalk that's often edible, and we've got the flower here that could have a choke. These are so small that it probably won't have one. What I'm gonna do is just brutally grab like 2 or 3 layers in the little leaves here, like that. Pull it off, and let's prep this up. So pull it off. These are not edible. Right, we're going to pull it to the leaves that haven't seen as much sunlight, therefore they're not as fibrous, therefore they're more edible, and therefore they're more delicate. So can you see how I've pulled back the leaves? So when it goes from deep green to the light kind of yellowy colour, the yellowy colour means tender. So now, about 1 inch from the base of the flower, here, I'm going to cut that off, right, and what we're going to end up with is the top of this artichoke. I will rub it with lemon juice. If you don't, it will discolour and go black. Okay, then I'll go to the stalk and cut about 2 inches from the base. Then I'll grab a little speed peeler or a knife and I'll just peel that edge of the artichoke like this. Now, as soon as you've done that, we're going to rub that with lemon juice again to stop it going black. Right, so that's the first one done. Right, so that was peeling, cutting and speed peeling. Now, if I cut in to this artichoke like that, let's look inside. Let's rub it with lemon again. You can see actually there is a big enough choke for me to remove it. So you can see the line of the choke is here. So I just take a little knife and I run that at the base like that. You don't want to cut into the choke, but you do want to remove the little furry bits. They're not poisonous, they're not bad for you. They're just not particularly edible. So with a little cut out and a drizzle of lemon juice, this again is ready and raring to go. So what we can do now is keep this as a whole or put it into quarters. Every time you cut the artichoke, we're going to rub it with lemon juice. We're going to grill them today because this is all about that dry heat that helps you amplify the natural flavors of veggies. I think hopefully this is something that you might be picking up on, like the natural flavors. Obviously when you're boiling things, you can smell it, and also if you taste the water, it's quite tasty. Right, that's because you're losing flavour and potentially nutrition as well. So by cooking in this manner, you're retaining flavour and nutrition. So it's a kind of clever way to cook. So this one, I'll prep up, peel it back. I'm keeping an eye on that as I'm grilling. If you ever go to the markets in Rome, where they're very good at artichokes, there's incredible ladies, normally, that just use a knife to do all of this, and they do it so effortlessly and beautifully. So I'm going to cut this into quarters, cut the choke out. Of course the easiest way to prep them is just to boil them and kind of deconstruct them, do an autopsy on a plate and have it with salt and butter. Beautiful. But you know, today is all about fire and the barbecue. Look at these tiny ones. I love it. Okay, so let's do something beautiful. let's go in with a little salt here. I'm going to take a herb, and this herb will be thyme. I'm going to big up thyme, a woody herb, but actually one that's often underloved and under-respected. So you can get lemon thyme, orange thyme, variegated thymes, all kinds of beautiful thymes. So I'm going to go in with some thyme, get it off the stalk if you can. Bash it up, like a teaspoon of thyme. This is the genius of cooking. A little goes a long way. So you kind of like bash up the thyme to almost back to cellulose, right? And then we're going to go in with good oil. I'm going to go in with citrus. What I was going to do, but I forgot, was actually cut a lemon in half and burn it, cut side down, to start caramelizing the sugars in the lemon. I forgot to do it, but it's a good vibe. So you get sweet and sour then. So we're going to go in with the thyme, lemon juice, and we've got salt already. We're going to really be a bit more generous with honey. So we're in the south of Italy, possibly Arabic influences, right? So honey, herb, olive oil, almonds, right? We've cooked these beautiful artichokes. They'll be soft on the inside. Have a taste. Balance. A bit more lemon. And that's now going to be a sublime dressing, right, for these artichokes. Now you could use this for any lovely veggies. So we'll take these kind of gnarly artichokes. Look at them. And this method of cooking is dehydrating them, and of course this dressing is rehydrating them. So that's the logic. And it's sizzling now. So just have a little look at this first. Very, very nice. And then we're going to just toss it in that honey, lemony dressing. And like an old loofah in the bath, it's going to rehydrate and just become like incredible. Look at the shine now, right? That's just delicious flavors happening there. Just let it kind of percolate, marinate, do whatever you want, gesticulate. Served with buffalo mozzarella, some lovely goat's cheese, like squash it and sort of chop it and put it on a little crostini, or throw it through like a little quiche frittata mix. Like that is the kind of like incredible representation of artichoke, in my opinion. So let's have another little taste. In that spirit of kind of south of Italy, Sicily, Arabic vibes, pistachio is a thing. So I might go pistachio today instead of almonds. And they're not roasted. So I'll just crack these, get that lovely green colour. The pistachios, some as a powder, some as a kind of crack, some as a whole. Look at that. It's looking good. Let's plate something up. With so many plate choices, I just don't know what to do. So look, let's plate this up. I'm going to put half on the plate like this. Just some lovely, lovely fresh milky mozzarellas. Bust those open. Look at that. And just pull those around the plate. Look how gorgeous that is. Nestle them in. The fresh, the milky, the refreshing. And it's nice when they're cold and the artichokes are warm. This could be a share plate. It could be a lovely starter. And then I'm going to take the rest of these artichokes and just lay them in and around on top. Just beautiful. Like what I wanted to do in this little beautiful cook up. I've loved this. Just sitting here, cooking for me, cooking for you. It's been such a joy, honestly. It's been a total pleasure. I mean, if anything, it's just like get outside and cook, light a barbecue. But really what I wanted to give you was like, it's not saying my way is the only way, because that's definitely not true, but it's like the thoughtfulness of extracting flavour, and also the kind of challenge for all the right reasons of like making veggies truly extraordinary. Like that, you know, making a steak great is pretty easy. Good chicken great, good pork. You know, you can still mess it up, but like it's kind of like it's all there. But with the veggies, you want to work with it and vibe with it. And these little marinades, these little salts that I've made, look at this, over the top. Come on. Like, people are gonna go mad for this. What is it? What's the flavour? What do you mean thyme? Yeah, like, you mean frumpy old thyme? No, elegant thyme. Like, we made this dressing like this. We got, you know, this time of year you got the flowers, so like celebrate that. I mean, this for me is joyful. And like, if you take the mozzarella out of this equation, like if you cooked an amazing pork chop or battered out like a veal scallop or a chicken breast and cooked it, you know, on the grill, and then put those marinated artichokes over it and finished it with some shaves of pecorino. Like this preparation is just the principle. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Look at that. Finish with a little honey. That's a dish, man. Pistachios, thyme, honey, lemon. Fragrant, textural, soft, tender, surprising, exciting. That with some milky mozzarella. I love it. Enjoy. I'm going to give you the most beautiful recipe for skewered prawns. I'm going to wrap them on skewers with smoky bacon. And then in contrast to that, we're going to do a beautiful salad, refreshing, with watermelon, feta, cucumber, herbs. It's a really nice combo, guys. So let's do it. First up, prawns. So what we can do is just take the heads off first. So I'll take all the heads off like that, really easy. And you can just rattle through it super fast. Then take all the shell off until the very end bit. Lovely. Now, I want to show you how to butterfly them. Get a knife and just run that carefully down the back. Don't put pressure in. And then once you've done that, you can get the knife in and take that little vein out. You have to be a little bit patient, but it's really easy to do. And it allows the marinade to get inside the prawns and make them even more delicious. Now it's time for the marinade. Really simple. Get a little dish, and then I'm going to get a lemon and some garlic. I want to use one of these little fine graters just to get that lovely yellow lemony zest off. I'll cut this in half. So the lemon juice will really flavour the prawns. And then I've got the garlic here. Now what I like to do, just get like 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, skin on, no problem at all. A nice little pinch of salt and a nice little pinch of pepper, and then just give it a nice little bash. And the skins will come off like that. You just get rid of that. Just smash up that garlic to a paste, and then choose a herb. It could be parsley, it could be fennel, it could be mint, whatever you want, basil. Just tear that in there, and we'll smash that in too. So once you've bashed it all up, take it out, put it into the little dish, pour over just a little bit of olive oil. That is a lovely marinade, sort of ready to kiss those prawns. And because we've prepared them with such a lot of love, that's gonna get right in to all those little cuts you made. And you can let those marinate for about half an hour, but really just move it around so all that garlic and parsley gets everywhere. Then what I wanna do is get myself a nice skewer, and I've got some smoky bacon. Take a little bit of smoked bacon or pancetta, put that on the end of our skewer, then get your prawn, and you can almost put like 2 little bits like that. And then you can put the pancetta back, and then you put the prawn. So like you can just whack it on, that's the truth of it. But I quite like weaving on. The bacon's gonna protect the prawns from the brutal heat of the barbecue. Kind of looks cool as well, look at that, man. Just make sure it's not too compacted. You wanna let everything breathe, not be too squashed in, because that will stop the heat. Let me just have a little wipe down. So look, let me get ahead of the game with the salad. We're gonna do a watermelon and feta salad. Let's cut these up. Look at the colour. And then once I've done that, I'm just gonna cut the outside off, and then we'll do the next one like that. So once you've got your peeled watermelon, we're just gonna do lovely little sort of 1 centimetre, slightly over slices, 1.5 centimetres. I wanna simply slice these slices across 1 centimetre and then turn it the other way. Kind of want to make it quite graphic and sort of like little mouth-sized chunks. So we're going to use lemon again, and then into that some nice cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. To the party, just before we get going, I'll add some finely sliced red chilli. So add as much as you like, and then pick a herb. Anything that you can chew and eat nicely goes in. Just that fresh, fragrant, kind of irony hit is gonna be good. I'm just gonna take half a red onion And we'll just now mix it in to the rest of the herb leaves. That lovely watermelon goes in. So let's put the skewers on now. These will take about 5 or 6 minutes depending on the heat here. Now, let's get on to the next bit of our salad. I've got these beautiful slices of feta. I'll cut it into little slices. In we go. Look at the colours. And then cucumber. So again, a centimetre slice. So now just take a little time and pride in tossing this around. Right, let's go and have a look at these little skewers. Oh, come on. Look at that. You know, you want it to be golden and crisp. When the bacon's crisp, the prawns are done. And we've had 3 minutes on each side. Come on, man. Absolutely beautiful. And I just serve it pretty much like that. On the top, gorgeous. And look, at this point in the story, you just have to grab that and just pull it straight off. So look at that. Let's have a try.